I'm Investigator Driscoll and this is Sergeant Brown. And you're Nurse Chance, correct?
I am.
Okay. And on the 28th of September, you were conducting pill call on 4 South. Correct? Okay. And we were watching video and we noticed that you were doing pill call and there was an inmate in the multi-purpose room, 4 South, that was having a medical issue. It appeared had fallen out of a chair or something, and you went over and assisted the deputies. Could you explain what was going on?
The deputy, when I got done pill call, he asked me, can I look at this inmate that's saying that he's in distress. I walked in, I looked at him, I asked him what happened. He said that he felt like his ulcer was giving him issues. He was sweaty, like diaphoretic, just kind of restless. He said he could breathe, and I tried to sit him up, and he just felt like he couldn't let me stretch his legs out or anything. He was just like too uncomfortable. So I asked him, was he detoxing? He said no. So when I went back up there, he started saying he was detoxing. So before I left, I had told the officer to call the sergeant or somebody to take him down. Yeah. Because I don't have vital sign equipment on my part.
Right.
So I looked at his chart to see like what kind of history he had, and it said that he was detoxing. So I came back to him. I said, hey, I looked at your chart. You told me you weren't detoxing. Like, what are you coming down off? I believe he said heroin. And I asked him when was the last time used. He said yesterday. And the officer brought the wheelchair, and he said he was going to take him to medical. But he was just like uncomfortable. You could tell there was something wrong with him because like the sweats and stuff was just like something you can't, can't fake, and just kind of how, his eyes. He wasn't a cold, but he was just uncomfortable. Okay. So I called my charge nurse and let her know that like he was this patient that I was going to be sending down, and just kind of what he had going on. And she like asked me his name, and I told her kind of what.
Yeah. You said that you could tell he was in pain. You said so, like the sweating and the him not being able to stretch his legs out and stuff. Is that something that normally you would see with somebody detoxing?
That could be consistent with somebody detoxing. A lot of times, like abdominal cramps is like a big thing. Okay. I like pressed his stomach to make sure like wasn't appendix. He didn't complain when I pressed his lower quadrant. Okay. He didn't complain when I pushed over top of his gallbladder or anything like that. Nothing radiated to the back. So I did do an abdominal assessment on him. Okay. He didn't complain, but he was just kind of holding like the top of his stomach, and he said he didn't have chest pain or anything.
Okay. Was he throwing up, or did you witness?
He wasn't throwing up. He just was like sweaty. Okay. He was very sweaty.
Was he able to talk to you?
He was. He had a whole conversation, and he just kept saying like his ulcer, ulcer. So I guess maybe he had GI issues before.
Okay, so he kept referring to an ulcer. Like, did he say this was a prior medical history?
I only guessed it was because he knew exactly, kind of what it was. So it's not something he just came. It wasn't something that we would have diagnosed in here yet. It didn't say like he went out to the hospital already in his chart. So my take was it was something that he had dealt with before because he just kind of knew exactly my ulcers.
So as soon as you went in there to check on him, that's when he said that?
That's when he said that.
Okay, so immediately.
That was his complaint.
Okay, that was his original complaint.
His original complaint was his ulcers.
Okay.
Did you see him dry heaving at all?
No dry heaving.
It looked like, I don't know if you were outside the room or what, or if they were getting a chair in there. It looked like he was throwing up in the garbage can, but I couldn't tell if he was dry heaving or
he
just
said
like,
he was nauseous.
Okay.
And he didn't throw up. Nothing went in the trash can. Like they put the trash can to him, but nothing went in the trash can.
And he had a little red bag, I think, too, or a little bag.
Gave him a red
and he
bag
never
to take.
puked in that.
Nothing was in there.
And it looked like, and you could barely see in the video, the video. It looked like. Did you check his pupils, like with a flashlight? And how were his pupils?
His pupils were normal. So that was like.
Okay. And then did you? I may have missed it. Did you check his pulse, or I don't know what y'all normally do? Did you check his pulse?
checked this post because I didn't have a clock or
Okay.
anything, so I
Okay.
can't believe it was kind of
Okay.
much on it.
But you said you did check his abdominal area.
I did,
and-
and he didn't have any, like, it probably more than likely wouldn't have been an appendix or
Okay.
anything like that, and he didn't, like, he was complaining of the pain, so like appendix, if it ruptures or something, most of the time, like, you automatically have no pain all of a sudden,
Yeah.
and that didn't happen for him
Right.
when he was in.
Did he say that the pain had just started, or did he even?
He said it just started.
It just started
He said it just started.
when he got to
When,
that pod.
yes.
Okay.
So I guess he was like in there for a while and then in another room for a while before like maybe he got to
Yeah, I think they had just moved him up, and I think they were in that room for about
Yeah.
30.
Yeah, about 30. He was
40
in
minutes.
transition
Okay.
and then came up to that room waiting to go into force out the room in
Okay.
there.
So
So
probably slowed him down with the pill goal because it, you know.
nah.
So
Do you remember him from the infirmary or any other pod giving him pills at any
I don't
point?
think I've ever had any contact with him prior to
Okay.
that.
That's all I got.